Good evening and welcome to the Fatback 4 for this Sunday night. Liverpool 3, Cardiff 1 in the FA Cup 4th round earlier at Anfield. And we're going to have a big chat about that game. We're going to look ahead to Thursday's game against Leicester. And we're going to have a little chat about the Afcon to kick off, I'd say. With me is Kev, Keith and Davo this weekend. This show is brought to you by a new sponsor called BetMate. And BetMate it's a brilliant concept, to be perfectly honest. It's a brilliant concept. It's UK based only. I'm going to say that now before we go any further. And I have 5,000 people in Ireland going, why can't I get this? It's UK based only for the moment. So we're definitely going to speak about it about halfway through the show. Stay tuned for it because it's a brilliant concept and it's a great way to get involved in fantasy football. Really, really enjoyable. Féileacáin as well is our charity sponsor. Link in the description to see all their details and our donate page. If you're thinking about doing a super chat now on this, don't. Take it, click the link, head out of the show for a minute, click the link, donate and come back in. Alright? Please like, please subscribe, please share, and of course try your comments in there and we read as many as we can tonight. So there's loads and loads to get through. So if Keith says fucking once tonight, just quickly can I say I'll burst him, right? Kev, Keith and Davo, Liverpool 3, Cardiff 1. Liverpool go into the 5th round of the FA Cup where they will face Norwich at home. Keith, I'll come to you first. Just your initial thoughts, because it feels like forever since we played football.
Yeah, I suppose when you think about it, I was only talking about this with me wife earlier. She was asking, will the two lads be back in time for Leicester? And she's like, they only missed 2 league games, but it feels, it's been so long with the break and cup games and things like that even getting the game today back, it was good, because there's a feel-good factor about the club now with Luis Diaz signing, with Harvey Elliott coming back, with Thiago back from injury and things like that. There was a good vibe now. Now, obviously, we'll talk about the match and how the match goes on, but I think everyone was excited for Liverpool to be back. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't just the trudge, the sort of 12 o'clock kick-off, fucking cup game. You know what I mean? I think there was a bit of excitement for the lads that were coming back in there. And yeah, initial thoughts, saw the team stronger than I expected. We sort of tried to predict it last week what it would be like, and we got some right, we got some wrong, but yeah, it was a good team. It was showing the strength that is there at the moment when you see the bench and when you see players still to come back. It was good.
Yeah, Kev. We've had a couple of weeks off. We still have 2 players away, which we're going to talk about in a minute. And we will get on to that. I promise the Afcon now in a couple of minutes. But just the initial thoughts on the match before we move into it itself.
Yeah, same as Keith. That 2 weeks was an awful long 2 weeks because there was no football. Bar the Afcon, there was nothing. It was normally the lads, you'd have European, you'd have qualifiers. They'd be active, they'd be playing. But this time it was 2 weeks of virtually nothing. And I couldn't wait. I woke up this morning at 9 o'clock and I started clock watching. Right, the team sheet should be out now. Has anyone got any early news? What's going on? I was like a big kid up until kickoff. You know what I mean? I just couldn't wait for it to start.
Davo, you're usually behind the sofa for all Liverpool games. The sofa got a rest for 2 weeks, but
yeah,
we're delighted football was back. I know it's the FA Cup. I know it's not our main priority this season, but it was probably the perfect game to come back to with the players we're looking to bring back in, a new signing, and a bit of a trial run for when we go up against Leicester on Thursday. A chance to kind of, blow the cobwebs away.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I think breaks don't tend to do this. Jurgen Klopp's team's great. You know what I mean? I think they work on rhythm. I was happy enough to see the Leeds game slotted in there 4 days before the cup final. Team just keeps them ticking over. So yeah, it was a trial run. I wouldn't have really fancied it being Leicester straight away back after a 4 week. Grand to get a cup game in. Like you said, I'm no huge fan of the FA Cup now at all. But yeah, nice to get a win, nice to get in the next round, and nice to see the boys back.
Yeah, it really was. We're going to go into the game in a bit more detail in a minute, but Senegal have been crowned African Cup of Nations champions after a penalty shootout win over Egypt. Sadio Mane misses a penalty early on. The game stays 0-0 right till the death. It goes to penalty, and Sadio Mane scores the winning penalty to give Senegal their first ever African Cup of Nations title. Keith, happy for Sadio, not nice for Mo. It was always going to go, one way or the other. What can you do?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm actually happier for Sadio than I probably would have been for Mo, and I know that sounds a bit stupid, but Sadio sort of has to live in the shadows of Mo Salah at the moment. They're the two best African footballers, and Mo is just sort of taking all the limelight at the moment. We've been critical maybe of Sadio as Liverpool fans. We feel, is he gone off the boil or whatever? But when you take, from my point of view, right, it's always, is he worth giving another contract? Is the dip worth the outlay that you'd have to give him? And that's the only worry I have. I think if you look back at his play, he hasn't been that bad. He's getting back to his, not back to his best, but he's getting back to a good level. And from to win today, to win tonight, it's a great redemption for him, because you miss a penalty in the 5th minute, and it was a bleeding awful penalty as well. And to go then to the very end and to take it away from Mo doesn't get a kick because he's on the 5th one for Egypt, and he slots in a great pen at the end. I just thought it was great for Sadio. Yeah, I was delighted for him. Either way, we would have had one player unhappy. Mo looked like he was in his horrors over. I was looking at the medal thing there, and Sadio gave him a big high five. It's always going to be one of them upset, but I'm glad that Sadio done it, to be honest. Egypt have won it 7 times. It's Senegal's first. And he does deserve that recognition, and he does deserve that glory. And I think if it gives him a 5% sort of kick up the arse when he comes back to Liverpool, then happy days. Because, I think, as I said, I've certainly been critical of him. And when you look back, and I'll ask you, without derailing the show,
he's done it. Look, he's off.
I've already done it. Where do you rate him as a signing of a forward player in the history of Liverpool?
Who?
Like, I think he is so underrated, Sadio Mane.
One of the best.
I think he's so underrated that he's in the era now with the Klopp era, when you have got players like Mo doing it. I just think he doesn't get the credit. I'm fucking delighted that he got that.
Well, okay. Well, let's go down this rabbit hole. He's the catalyst for everything Liverpool have done since 2016, because he's the main signing of that summer, and he was absolutely sensational when he arrived at Liverpool. I think he shared a golden boot in the Premier League with 19 or 20 Premier League goals.
Yeah,
I don't think Michael Owen ever scored 20 Premier League goals in a season for Liverpool.
Didn't,
and if he didn't go to Manchester United, if you take away the history of Michael Owen, he will go down as one of the best forwards we've ever had. And Sadio has to be up there with him. He's gone through, for me, a year of, it's been tough. It's been tough form, confidence. He had COVID. He was playing so much football. Like, he comes back in 2019, the start of 1920, off the back of, was it an African Nations actually?
2-week break.
A 2-week break, and he just rocked in and came on as a sub at home to Norwich. I was there that night, and I always remember him coming on.
No, that was the Afcon. Was it? That was less than 2-week break. I think it finished, and he was back in less than a week or something.
Yeah, so for me, Sadio Mane will go down as one of the best ever forward signings for Liverpool. No doubt about it. He's had a tough year, but when you look at his return, it's really, really good, like, for Liverpool. But it's just the standard we've set over the last couple of years, that if you have a bad run of games, it's so magnified, it's untrue. And then when you have the fella beside you, like fucking something like 170 or 80 goal involvement in how many games, and you're like, this is fucking ridiculous what he's doing. When you're measured up against that, it's a bit like trying to measure a right back cover up against Trent. It seems pointless at times, but Mane's been absolutely sensational for Liverpool, and I've said it before, I'd extend his deal. I wouldn't do 2 and 3 years, I'd extend it by another year, and it gives us a chance to get the absolute best of his career out of him, the best of his career out of him, and allows us to plan for the future. But I don't know how the other boys say. Kev, you can answer that if you want, and tell us what you think about Mo being the winner, Salah runner-up. What can you do?
Well, someone was always going to be disappointed, and they both knew this going into the game. As Chris was saying to me before we came on air, that it means more to Sadio. And I think it does, because they got close last time. They were beaten by, I think it was Algeria in the final last time. And the expectation on that Senegal side is through the roof. Anyone who's watched that game tonight, you will know probably 7 or 8 of those players are playing at top level clubs or in top leagues across the continent. They were the best side in the tournament by a good distance, I think. Sadio is probably up there as one of the players of the tournament. He's done really, really well. When we got him from Southampton, I was all over the moon, because the one thing that stuck in my head was his hat trick. I think it was against Villa that he beat Robbie Fowler's record for the fastest hat trick in Premier League history. And it was the type of goals he was scoring for Southampton. Left foot, right foot header, bursting into the box, pace of burn. Thought, this is exactly the type of player we need. And it was a great fit. Would I extend his contract? I would give him 2 years with an option for a third in a heartbeat. I'd rather have him than not have him. I'd rather keep him at the club until he's 32, 3, 4 and phase him out that way, because for what fee you'll get for him, you'll spend that for an unknown quantity and you don't know what you're going to get. I'd rather phase him out over time in the same ways we're going to hopefully be able to do with Jordan Henderson, and bring through the likes. By the time Sadio leaves, you hope that Kay Gordon is ready to be a first-team player in that kind of time scale, 2-3 years. That there's no pressure on these kids coming through, and that we're still got a very experienced, solid pro who knows his game inside out, and we know his game inside out. I just don't, unless he wants to go, I wouldn't be offering him. I wouldn't be showing him.
I'm a fan,
Depends what he wants as well.
Yeah,
that's it. It's all down to him.
It does, because at the end of the day, when it comes down to the end of the season, he'll have a year left, you know. And Mo's the same. We don't know what's going on there either. But we hope to hear news on both of them. And Firmino's in the same boat. But I just think he's been an absolutely exceptional signing for Liverpool.
Can I just throw the numbers out at just before we go on to Davo? Yeah. Sorry. So he's played 244 games for Liverpool. He's got 107 goals and 44 assists. It's not bad. You know, that's quite good.
50 goal involvements in 244 games.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's not as the main man. Do you know what I mean? That's as the...
I think Salah is Salah something like 180 or 190 goal involvements in 200 and odd games, and it's ridiculous. Have a look at Salah.
Yeah.
But Davo, while he does, happy for Mo, or happy for Sadio, obviously. You know, Mo, I just look at it and I think maybe they both think it was their best chance to win it at the stage of their career they're in. But one had to lose, and you know, it would have been tough. It's going to be tough for either of them coming back to Liverpool as a loser of that game. But you know, you feel sorry for Mo, but you have to just look and go, like, Mane was the player of the tournament.
Yeah, look, I would be similar to Keith. I'll probably be slightly happier for Sadio that he got it rather than Mo. There was, like Kev was saying, they were under huge pressure. I was reading they got witch doctors and everything in the last time to try. They've lost because they've lost some big games. I'm not sure whether that was their first final loss, the Algeria one, but I don't think it was. No,
the manager lost in a penalty shootout.
Yeah, exactly. And they had a name, really, a serial choker, so it was delighted to see them get over the line. And yeah, slightly happier for Sadio than I probably would have been for Mo. But yeah, look at Mane, what a great signing. Listen, I'm kind of of the opinion, though, similar I was with Genie as well, like succession planning has to come into it at some stage. I would like Sadio to stay. I've said it in WhatsApp groups before, I'd like him to be a fitter version of Origi, a better version of Origi, the role that Origi plays in the squad. But like you boys said, it's down to him. Would he want to do that? I don't know. Diaz is in now, can play kind of that role as well. So listen, there's fellas that know fucking far more about what they made the club making them fucking decisions. So I'm happy enough to sit back and trust them all implicitly to make the right call. But yeah, look at Mane, brilliant signing, and people forget when he came in, he started on the right, moved to the left to accommodate Mo.
No moaning about it either.
No moaning, and the quality was still there in the huge number. So yeah, look, I definitely like to keep him around.
Amy says Salah has 148 goals and 52 assists, which comes with a total of 200 goals. 200.
I have
what have you
56 assists.
Okay,
So the same except for the assists.
So 204 goal involved in 229 games. That's what you're up against, and I think it's absolutely amazing. I have to read this comment out though. Scouser Pete says, "Hey Gav, will you quit the 0-0 bullshit, please? It's 0-0. I've been in Ireland for 20 years and it still irritates the hell out of me. Cheers," says Scouser Pete. We just say 0-0.
0-0, is that not a worldwide thing now?
Try and listen. I've been around Jamie Home, I've been around Dicko, and I think they say 0-0 as well. We just say 0-0, but I'll try my absolute best for you, Scouser Pete. So the next time there is a game that finishes with no goals for both teams, I will try my best to say 0-0.
Hold on a minute. Why doesn't Scouser Pete try his best to come around to 0-0?
Because
0-0 is right.
Because
it's 0-0.
He's extremely upset at the 0-0 thing, right? I don't care if you say 0-0, whatever you want, but he's extremely upset. And if people are upset, I like to put them where he is. The Reclaimer says more likes equals more sponsors equals channel pays for itself. More likes is great. The next bit is untrue. Because the more sponsors we've taken on this sponsor because we like it, one, and two, if we make any money off this sponsor, we're not taking it, we're giving it to charity. So the channel pays for itself. It does that already. It does that already. Trust us. So anyone out there that tells you they need money to pay for this channel, it's not true. It pays for itself anyway. And any money we get off sponsors or whatever it might be, we give to charity. So what you're doing is you're backing charity, basically. But Reclaimer knows where it is. He's on 104 likes, which he's absolutely flying. He's going to target 200 now. One person doesn't like it. If you're still here, leave a comment underneath after to let us know why and what we done wrong. It's probably Scouser P because we said 0-0. It could be.
Can we touch on them psychos again?
Podcasts are in there now with their 0-0.
Yeah. There's a few psychos in there going on about 0-0. Is it 2-2 and 3-3, or is it 2-all, 3-all?
No, it's 2-2, 3-3, 4-4.
2-all, 3-all, 0-all.
I agree.
1-all.
I'm a bit of a hybrid, because I'm half my life here, half my life there. I just goes.
This can't be an Irish-English thing, is
it? It is an Irish-English thing.
We'll be fighting over the 6 counties because of this now in a minute. Red Sea podcast said it's 0-0. 0-all, says Jono. Not all, says Craig.
There's always one.
When we went 3-all in 2005.
I'm not having 0-0, Gav, at all.
No. But Red Steve, hold on, we're on a tangent now. This is going to go up wherever. When we went 3-all in 2005, Gav called it deuce. But look, it's I don't know, 0-0, all, call it what you want. But listen, just if you think Scouser Pete is in here, make sure you say 0-0. I liked you before you started, Gav, says Scouser Pete. Jesus, it's got personal now as well. But anyway, it wasn't 0-0 today. It was 3-1 to Liverpool. So let's get into that. Lineup. So, we go strong. Davo, will come to you first. We go strong enough. Gomez and Chamberlain are out because of COVID. They've done their isolation. They just hadn't trained and had the opportunity to be back. But overall, the lineup, when you seen it come out, you're like, geez, that is strong. And we expecting it because we've Leicester in 4 days. We need to get some of the rustiness out of us.
Oh yeah, no, I was expecting us to go. I didn't expect it to be like Leicester at home starting lineup in the Carabao Cup that time. I expected them to go fairly strong to get, like as we mentioned earlier, 2-week break, and I'd say he wanted to get minutes into lads' legs, like blow the cobwebs off, like you said, Gav. And no, I was very happy with the team, and I expected us to have more than enough.
Keith.
Yeah.
He does go strong, and he knows he has 5 subs. Were you happy with the team? Because I was happy with it, but I'm going to get on to a minute. I quickly got very annoyed at the midfield, but overall, he's used a lot of players today that he can call upon on Thursday. That's probably the main thing. You even see later on, he brings on subs early enough to try to get them as much as the second half as he can. But overall, when you look at that lineup, you think, yeah, he's not gone completely full strength, but he's gone with something that he thinks, I can get minutes in the legs here, and as well as that, I can win the game.
Yeah, it's a good, strong team. Do you know what I mean? It's good to get minutes into players that haven't been featuring, like Kanate, like Simicas, like Keita. Minamino. Do you know what I mean? Like it's good to get these lads in, and when they're the players that are coming into a team, you're happy enough. You're looking at a strong enough line up there, strong players getting in. I was curious about Gomez because I was out at a match this morning, so I didn't hear why he'd missed the team. I was starting to worry, why is he not getting a look in? Because when we predicted the teams on Friday, myself and Kev, I think I certainly thought Gomez and Kanate would have played myself at the back, or even Gomez at right back to cover Trent. So I was sort of wondering what was up with him. But yeah, good, strong team. As we said, I touched on it earlier, you look at that team there and that bench and it's strong, and that's without Fabinho, and that's without Alisson, and that's without Mo and Sadio. It's amazing what a couple of moves can do, or a couple of bodies. We all hate a new signing when an injured player comes back, but seeing Harvey Elliott on that bench today and Luis Diaz, it was like two new players. Do you know what I mean? Even though one's only a new signing, I was surprised he didn't bring each of them on separately and just try and blade and lift the roof off the place. He done them both together. But no, delighted with the team. I don't know what you're going to say about the midfield, Gav, but I sort of did have a few issues with it myself.
Kev, we spoke about it earlier on the full-time Reds, but overall, again, you're looking at that side and he's not taking many chances, but he's getting as many players that he wants in consideration for Thursday on the pitch, with the idea that the 5 subs are there. He plays it well, in fairness, doesn't he, with what he puts out there while he gets on the pitch?
Yeah, he does. I mean, I think the Chamberlain and Gomez issues forced his hand with Taki playing on the far right, because I think that Ox would have played. And I'm getting a bit worried about Joe Gomez, because odds are, even if he was fit, he might not have played. And at some point, the frustration is going to kick in, because he's still a young man and he has ambitions. And I'm pretty sure his ambitions aren't limited to be 4th choice centre back at Liverpool. So hopefully he gets an opportunity and he takes it between now and the end of the season. But the team me and Keith both agreed that he would go fairly strong. It was just a case of who go where and what kind of way it would work. And he had to. We saw it with the last time we had a break. He went strong. He gave Alisson minutes. It was normal. And the fact that we have options now, that we have a strong bench, that we have players to come in, and all of these guys needed minutes because there was no international football for him to get it. Harvey had a behind closed doors game last week, but other than that, most of the lads were away on holiday. I think most of them either went to Dubai or somewhere else in the Middle East. So they needed today more than anything this season. They really did, and it showed. It showed that they needed it.
I think it showed in the first half that we took a while to get going. But Davo, we could have went up early. Kate the ball into Jota. He pins the defender. Lovely flick through. It was nearly like a Cruyff turn, but it was a half Cruyff turn. Davo puts it through the defender's legs, and Jota's well known for smashing balls in the net, but on this occasion it probably should have been just one left-footed to the keeper's right, and you make it 1-0. And it was a great chance early on, wasn't it, to like just lay a marker there and go, this game is over early.
Like you mentioned there, all kind of from his own doing the ball. It comes into him, he does pin him. Lovely little nutmeg back heel. And listen, the keeper is gambling. He's going down expecting them, like the keeper gambles and goes early. Jota just needs just a little side footer. The good thing about like UTV having McCoist on the commentary today, he was brilliant. He was just said, he just goes, you can't go for power there. You just got to slot. You just got to roll that into the keeper's right. Because the keeper had gambled big time. He was gone down early. Good save. Now he gambled right. Good save because there was a lot of power behind it. He was so close in. Similar to their goal, Kelleher doesn't gamble and the power beats him. If the Cardiff keeper doesn't gamble, that's in because he's not getting down to it in time. So he gambles, makes a good save. But listen, he should have just slotted that. Bit more composure and just slotted it.
Yeah, and like if he the slots that, maybe the game goes differently, because Keith Cardiff have a shout for a penalty. Their forward gets inside Konate. Now, Konate knows he can't touch him. He cuts across Konate well, but then nearly stops to throw himself into Konate and goes down for a penalty. And it was a bit of a wake-up call for us, wasn't it? Because it was like, we're well on top here, but I can't understand why he went down. Just get out of your feet and hit it. But it was a bit of a wake-up call. Did you think it was a penalty?
I didn't know, but if it was given, you probably wouldn't have had too many arguments. I mean, Konate doesn't do anything to foul him or to impede him. Your man literally just runs into him. But Jota ran into the Crystal Palace keeper last week. We thought that was a penalty. So I don't know on these new rules. But if the way I always look at it, if VAR hadn't given it, then it's not a penalty, because they'll do anything to try and blade and not screw Liverpool. But in a cup game, when there's a Championship or below team against a Premier League team, I think they'll always try and screw over the Premier League team. So I think if there was any way they could have given that, they'd have given it. But no, nothing in it. It's not even like there's a tangling of legs. You know the way you could say Konate was a bit clumsy. He's just running. He's not interfering with your man. Your man just sort of jumps into him. And I think Roy Keane and Ian Wright were saying it on the commentary at half time, the punditry, and they're saying no. He said, like, if he just stopped or slowed down and let Konate barge into him, then yeah, you could say penalty, but not literally jumping into him and looking. But as I said, if it's given, you're like, oh, for fuck's sake, it is a wake-up call. I think we would have sort of snapped out of it. But it just goes to show in these games, you just have to be on it, because there's no good having sterile domination of the ball without doing that and with it, and we weren't sort of doing enough with the ball. So maybe that was the wake-up call we needed.
Yeah, it was. Kev,
I thought Konate played it well. Now I thought he purposely stays.
He stays away from him. Yeah.
Stays away from him, so there isn't that tangle of legs that then it definitely gets given, and you say, "Oh well, fuck." Yeah. Look, we thought Konate done well. Now we knew kind of, listen, I'm letting you make the decision here. And Ian Wright actually said, "Yeah, man gets too bogged down, but worrying about Konate should roll it across to his mate,
or hit it
for a tap in or hit it." Yeah. So I thought Konate played it well there. In fairness,
he did, because the easiest thing would have been to try make up for your mistake, get alongside him and lean into him and try put your leg across him. And if you get that wrong, puts his leg across him and the player does the same thing he's done, he probably gets a pen. You know, but the player actually, you see him actually nearly stopping to turn, you know, to throw himself that way. And it's one of those. But Kev, I want to come to you, and I know the three will want to say on this, but I said it earlier, the midfield started to really annoy me from early on. Now, I'm not sitting there absolutely fuming. It's an FA Cup game and I'm watching it, and I think we'll win the game, but I'm sitting there and I'm kind of saying to myself, what are these doing? And I'm not a kind of like real fucking childish, like, what are they fucking doing? I'm actually looking going, what are they doing? Because I thought Henderson was very slow on it. Now he keeps it ticking over, right, fair enough, but I think he's very slow on it. He should be banned from these chip balls to the back post. I'm just shouting that out there now, because he just seems to rely on it too much. And Jones just looked like he was short of confidence even, and Keita looked a mile off it for me.
Yeah, well, Naby coming back from Afcon, he's had an all right season. You know, a bit hit and miss, bit injuries, coming back. But all three of them had issues in the first half, and it mainly stemmed from none of them being brave enough to run beyond the front three and open up space. Cardiff were very happy in the sat in, how they were sat in, and you've seen it with plenty of games this weekend. The lower league sides in the Championship are good players. You know, most of them have come through either Premier League academies or they're experienced pros. They're very good at keeping shape, and if you want to move the ball side to side, Cardiff are quite happy to stay there and let you play the ball side to side. They had three big centre backs. If you want to whip crosses in, grand. You know, but what we didn't do was have one of the two centre mids making runs in behind, stretching them, and just doing something different. Everything was very safe, as Keith said earlier, sterile. Now, you can put a lot of it down to rustiness, but it seems to be a pattern of play that we come up with when we're playing against a back five who are fixed, that it takes a half to work it out. Usually in the second halves of games, we start to move it faster. But you can put it all down to a lot of things. What you were saying after the game today was probably not a bad shout, because they could have swapped over. Jones could have gone onto the right and Naby could have come onto the left and tried that. But at the same time, we were in almost total control. So there was no threat. And as long as there was no threat, it was almost a case of like, well, be patient and they'll work a chance. But at the same time, it was frustrating. It was frustrating to watch. And maybe you can put it down to everyone coming back and not much training done with each other for a while. But at the end of the day, they're going to come up against these better players playing the same way, and they're going to have to be sharper on it. Jones was taking pot shots and not getting over the ball, not having his technique.
He had a great chance where it squared across the box and he just balloons it.
Yeah, he just balloons it because his technique was all wrong. And we know that he's capable from outside the box. We know he is. But it was just almost lazy. And Roy Keane was saying at halftime, lax. Casual.
That's what I thought, because I looked at the front three and I felt a bit sorry for Minamino, Firmino and Jota, and you could see Jota getting more and more annoyed at this because he kept dropping deep left and saying, right, give us the ball, and he was trying to move into midfield with it and trying to make things happen. In a midfield like that, especially against a side that are going to sit, like you said, with if it's 4 and 5 or 5 and 3 or 5 and 4, whatever it might be, you need people to carry the ball, commit players, and even if you're not doing that, you make runs behind them, make runs left, right, whatever it might be. And
there was one bit in the second half where Tsimikas cut inside, and it was late in the first half, and he cut inside, and they slipped the ball into him, and he tried to cut it across. It didn't work out. But that didn't happen.
It was a handball show for a penalty, wasn't it, Kev? It was that one.
Was it that one? Was it?
Yeah, it was that one. Yeah,
but that was where it created panic. That inside run created panic.
But there wasn't enough of that for me.
Yeah, Robbo and Sadio do that all the time.
And the thing is, like, Henderson was there, and it ended up him being, even though he was the deepest midfielder, he was 30 yards from goal, and he was probably, I don't like the way he chips his ball to the back post all the time, but he was probably thinking, I'm going to put it in there and see what happens, because when he's looking around, the front three are trying to hold the shape and do something. You need the other two midfielders making breaks into little areas all the time, or even making a run to commit a defender so a forward can get a bit of room. But the forward three looks so detached for me, and I felt a bit sorry for them. But
do you know what I think the problem with that is? It's Bobby and Jota especially are excellent in the air. Jota is fucking brilliant in the air, and I think there's that sort of default to just float them balls into them. They don't have to whip them. Do you know what I mean? It's not like Jota is able to manufacture headers out of them floaty, shitey balls, and Bobby is actually decent at it as well. So you sort of hope that someone said it in the chat there, if he gets one of them, he'll do 1,000. Henderson will do 1,000 of these little floaty, chippy balls. So you just want that out of the lexicon. It has to be like, if the fact that they do it all the time, and we seen it last season, it became a part of the game.
I don't mind them putting the ball in.
Is it instructed to just get it in there without
but Keith,
being dangerous?
Hold on a minute, Keith. When you're playing against a deep line defence, right? What they want is, they want crosses from a deepish position that's lofted into the box where they've loads of time to look at it, pick their spot, pick their time, and go and head it, right? If you told me that Henderson was going to take a touch on that and whip this thing at chest height in around the back of them and cause murder, I'm all for it. Do it as many times
or along the ground. The old corridor of uncertainty.
This is landing beyond the far post, right? And it's looping in the air. Like, it's, even if a fella gets to it, he's an awful lot to do to try score. You know, the sort of way. And I'm not a fan of it, but when I look at what the other two midfielders in particular were doing, it wasn't like Henderson could get the ball in and go, he's making a run, bang, I bang it into him, and he's turning on a defence. It just wasn't there. Davo, before we finish up on the first half, like, did that midfield worry you at all? I know they're rusty. I know they've had time off. They needed this before Leicester on Thursday. But did it worry you at all where you look at Keita and you look at Jones and even Henderson, you go, they might be rusty, but they're not. Just seemed very safe to me, and it seemed very playing loads of percentages, and I just didn't like it.
Look, he could have played that midfield. The three lads play out their skin. You go, it's a great midfield. The three of them are shy. Yeah. But that happens in football. I'm not a big fan of Henderson in the six, really. Sitting in front, not as really a dig at him. Like he's not as good as Fabinho at it. Not many are, but it kind of takes away from our game. Kind of, I've mentioned loads before, as of other like people, the triangles that the boys get out wide with Henderson, Trent, and Mo, and then the other side, generally with Sadio and Robbo on the other side with Thiago. Say if it's Thiago. That's a huge part of our game, and it's something I think consciously I kind of noticed that when Elliott first got in to start the season, he was playing that right hand side, he was very high, and I think them balls, I'm the same, like clipping them cheapy, floaty, shitey balls in all day to a 6'5" centre half, and it was blowing a gale, was pointless. But in them games, you do find sometimes we do a move where, say, Trent will set it back to Henderson or vice versa, and they'll whip a ball in kind of to the back stick. But I think they're trying to get the back forward to shift up a couple of yards and then get runners that are going in late. As you mentioned, midfield runners going in late, and that can work for us and has worked for us. But I just thought, listen, Nobby was in the team, I thought, for that reason, as in he can beat a player. He can stand a player up and he can go by him. And when you're playing with a team that has fucking 10 men behind the ball or whatever, you're going to need that. He didn't play well today. Jones the same. He can stand someone up and go by them. Didn't do enough for today. And then it just kind of got very turgid, very quick. It was slow. It was side to side. It was, like Keith said, steroid possession for possession's sake without really doing it. Apart from the chance, we didn't do much in the first half. So I would say they did need a rocket up them off Klopp at half time.
Dylan O'Rourke says, what would you have done differently, Gav? I'm not saying don't start them three, because he obviously, like I said earlier, he has a plan to play 11 and bring 5 on, right? So we could have done it on. What I'm saying is, well, first of all, I would have had Keita on the left of the tree, and I would have had Jones on the right of the tree, because it's been seen this season that the person on the right of the tree is the one that looks to break lines, get forward, run with the ball. The one on the left looks to control the game, and the one in the centre, or the deepest one, i.e. Henderson, looks to protect. Okay, now there's not an awful lot of protection that needs to be done in a game like this, but Keita off the left hand side, okay, he controls it, and we looked a little bit more threatening down the left hand side, but that was mainly down to Tsimikas, Jota and Firmino all trying to get over there and do something. I would have put Jones on the right hand side, and I would have said to him, listen, you just keep making runs, carry the ball if you have to, keep making runs beyond Minamino, because that frees up Trent to get the ball, and then it frees up Minamino, who wants the ball in those little areas, and then he can play off Firmino, Jota, whoever else around him, or even Jones himself that's making runs. But it was standstill football. That's what it was. It was standstill football. But look, it was half time. It was 0-0, and we'll go into the second half now in a minute. Before we do though, I want to talk to you about BetMe. Now, I've deliberately not told Davo, Keith, or Kev anything about this. Right? I usually show the lads loads of stuff, loads of material, but I'm going to use these as my guinea pigs tonight to tell them what it's all about. So we have a little video about BetMe, and people listening later on the audio download, you can fast forward through this bit, or you can hit the link in the description and you can see the video itself. And then we have a little chat about what it's all about, how you play, and how you can score points, win a few quid, and have a good time, and how we're going to work it amongst ourselves over the next few weeks and that. All right. So here we go. So that is BetMe. BetMe are... The first thing you need to realise about BetMe is, and I've looked up loads and I've talked to the people that have created this, it's not you against the bookies, okay? It's you against everyone else in the pot, okay? So what you can see on screen now is basically a pot from Chelsea v Tottenham going back to last week or the week before. And you can see how many points were scored and, you know, who wins and what amount of the pot you get. So the way BetMe works is, first of all, the link is in the description if you want to look at that video again or go onto their site and check out what they're all about. There's also a link in there to sign up, okay? Everyone that signs up on that link, they'll know you've come through us to sign up first thing. But everyone that signs up gets a chance to go into a free pot. That's without making any sort of, you know, lodgement into your account or having to pay for any pot. You go into a free pot to play for money and to see how it works, okay? That's the first thing I need to say to you. So if you want to join this, it's in the description as to how you can do it. You can find them on Twitter and across social media as well, right? But as I said, no stake or deposit. You get a feel for the game once you sign up, okay? So that's the first thing I want to say to you. The way this is different to others is, you can see on screen there Celtic v Rangers, okay? It's a £250 minimum payout. This is from the old firm Jordan Dewey. Entry would be £5 into that. There'll be a certain amount of players that can enter. Once you can get into that pot, that's good. You go in there, and what you do is you pick 11 players, but there's no budgets, lads. There's no, you know, in fancy football, the way there's, you know, oh, he's worth 8 million and I have to find so many players. Davo, you know this because you play fancy football. I think Kev does, and I think Keith does as well. But you know the way you're in there and you're saying to yourself, oh, I can't get him, he's 8 million, and like, I only have 6. There's none of that. So Davo, what would happen is you would sign up, you would get a free pot to play, okay? So this week the free pot is Liverpool v Leicester. It's being set up for us, okay? And what happens is you sign up, you straight away you can enter one free pot. So you would enter Liverpool v Leicester. You have to pick 11 players. You have to pick 6. You can only maximum of 6 players off Liverpool or Leicester, 5 off the other team. And you have 7 players on the pitch and you have 4 subs. You can make real-time subs during this. Real-time subs. So if you have Luis Diaz on the bench and he's coming on, you go, oh, here he's coming on, I'll put him into my team. You can actually do this on the app. It's available on the Play Store. It's available on the App Store on Apple, and it's available on the Google Play Store as well. So 11 players, 7 on the pitch, 4 subs. And basically what happens is you're only playing against the people in there. That's all you're playing against. You're not playing against BetMe. They are only facilitating this. What they do is they get X amount of people in. I think they take 10% of the pot, and the other 90% then goes to, it could be 4th, 2nd and 3rd. It could be 4th, 2nd, 3rd or 4th. Keith, do you reckon you'd be any good at this?
Nope.
No? But you would try it.
Of course, but I am absolute geek at fantasy football stuff. Right. So
now this is different.
I know, and you know, I don't know. I'm useless at this sort of thing, but I will be trying it. But I don't know if I'll be good at it.
It's only available in the UK at the moment. So if you're in Ireland and you want to play, you just link up with someone in the UK and say, listen, do you want to go into it together? You can pick the team together. At the moment, it's only available in the UK. But it's different in a sense that, you know, the way the fantasy have like goals, assists and stuff, there's much more metrics to this. Defenders get more points for, you know, tackles, interceptions, goals themselves, but there's a lot more areas and kind of headings where players can gain points. So it's not just a case of picking 6 forwards off one team and 5 forwards off the other team, and that's your 11, and put 7 of them on the pitch. Defenders make as many points as forwards in this. Kev, would you be any good at it?
Probably not, but I'll give it a lash.
Okay.
So ask me after.
Okay. Davo, would you be any good at it?
Listen, I'd give it a go anyway. I reckon I'd fancy myself probably to get a couple right, but yeah, it seems similar to DraftKings in the States, which is a similar kind of setup. You're in, you pick what pot you go into, you pick what league you want to go into depending on the price, and then like that, whatever how many points you get for all the players that you have picked and stuff like that. So yeah, listen, it seems like that kind of thing is coming over here a lot more now. So yeah, no reason not to get involved anyway.
Yeah, and what we've done is we've put a certain amount into our pot, our InterWare account with BetMate. Chris Brack is in the UK. He's going to run it for us. And instead of us just picking players every week, we're going to get viewers to pick it. So when the pot comes up at the start, so what we're going to do is we have the free pot Leicester against Liverpool. So sign up and you get that. Okay, or Liverpool v Leicester. Sign up and you can play in that, okay? And then there'll be pots, I think they range from £2, £3, £5 up to £10, right? But you can decide which one you want to go into. But what we're going to do is we're going to take the money we've put into our account and we're going to say there's a pot for £3 and it's 3 games in the Premier League over the weekend. We are going to know that early. We're going to bring it up on one of the shows during the week and then we're going to nominate Kevin Ball. Just off the top of my head, or Christopher Bourne, or Curtis, or Red Steve, and we're going to say, right, there's the 3 games. I want you to pick us 11 players. I want you to give us the 7 starters and the 4 subs, and we're going to put the money in for them and see how we get on. Any money we win from this will go to charity. Any money we make from it, anyway, will go to charity. So I'm hoping people sign up for this. The link is in the description. Gamble responsibly, as we'll always tell you. Yeah. But if you're on iPhone or you're on Android, it's very easy to download. It's a really easy app to use. Chris Brack says there he's played it. It's very easy to use. He's also awful at fantasy football. But listen, it's one of those where you can make live subs and everything, and I think you can change your team right up to 5 minutes before the game starts. So there's loads of options there. You're not stuck to 3 hours before the game. 5 minutes before the start, you can change. You can make live subs. You're in there on a leaderboard with real players, and BetMate will let you know beforehand how many's going into the pot, how much the pot is worth, and how many places will be paid out on. So it could be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, whatever it might be. But there's loads of games, there's loads of pots, and as I said, you're not playing against BetMate. You're not playing against what they pick. You're playing against real people that are trying to outdo you on a very live scale and in a very live environment as games go on. All right. I hope
it's good that it has that live element to it.
I love that about it.
Because what kills me in fantasy football is I pick a team, forget about it, and then the players, half my team are playing in different countries, and some of them do be dead, and I'm like, what can you do? So at least with this, if you're involved, you can keep your teams up to date, and looks good.
Also, you pick different teams for every pot.
Yeah. So it makes games interesting.
You're constantly looking at it.
It's not like you have to constantly update it. You could literally pop onto the app. Go, what's going on this week? Now there will be a facility later on where they will do LFC Daytrippers ones for us, so they can nearly tailor it for us as to what we want, which is coming soon. But you can just basically pop on the app and go, there's one for £2. It's Man United versus Arsenal. I'll go in there and I'll pick a few. And you pick a few, and then you might be watching the game. You might have, I don't know, Saka on the bench, and then you think, he's really coming into this game. Here, I'm throwing him on. The sort of way. And the leaderboard is live as well. It's updated live all the time because they're measuring the metrics all the time. But it's absolutely brilliant. I'm going to have another chat with them during the week, because if I've missed that in here, they won't give it out to me, but they'll say, listen, you forgot this and you forgot that. But find the pot, enter real-time subs, real-time leaderboard, and when it comes down to a tailored one for us and even private ones for us, we'll be able to have kind of private leagues and stuff like that, and really slaughter Keith because he's terrible at it. So that's how it works. But check it out. The link is in the description. If you click on it, there's 2 links. One for their site, so you can see exactly what's going on and how it works, and the second one is to sign up. And as I said, if you sign up without making any deposit or paying any money, you can go out, enter a free pot which shows you exactly how it works, and then you might like it and you go, grand, yeah, no problem, and play away. If you're in Ireland and you have a mate in England, you go, do you want to play? Yeah, you can go get together and do that. As I said, we are in Ireland, but we have Chris in England, and he's going to look after for us. Right, back to the game, and thanks for listening to all that. And I hope I've got it right. I'm sure the BetMate lads will let me know if I haven't. 196 likes. Keep going. Reclaimer wants 200. When you hit 200, he promises to stop, but he doesn't, because you start going on about 300 then. Second half, Davo, goalkeepers union, should he be sent off? Should he be not? Kevin Kelleher.
Listen, the sending off issue for it with me comes down to the tackle, the severity of the tackle. I think it's not a goal scoring opportunity. Canate has that under control. That's the mistake Kelleher makes. He gets involved in something that he doesn't need to come out and get involved in, because Canate is fucking shit quick. He's running with your man. He actually sees Kelleher coming and starts running back towards the goal line in case your man flicks it past him. So he's well clued in. So the situation, the sending off really comes down to, is it kind of 6 studs on your man's ankle or Achilles? I actually don't think he catches him that badly. Like it's not like a real fucking 6 studs on the ankle. I think he kind of grazes him, does catch him a little bit, just nicks him, maybe with a stud or two. So I'm kind of saying, similar to the penalty, like Keith said with the penalty, if it's given, you kind of go, fuck. I don't think he should have been sent off. If he was sent off, would it be on here saying the ref was a disgrace? No, but I think it was kind of probably an orange, if there was such a card, an orange card. But no, he was lucky. You know, he was kind of lucky there. Now, do you know what I mean? He could have been sent off. I personally didn't think it was. Definitely wasn't a goal scoring opportunity, and I don't think he really clatters into him with 6 studs to make it serious foul play.
I think Davo's spot on there, because, I'm sorry for jumping in, Gav, you know, it is twofold. It's twofold. Is it a goal scoring opportunity? And I agree 100% with what Davo said. No, because Kanate's on the cover there. He reads it and he knows what's going on. The tackle, I don't think it's a red card, because I don't think he does catch him. He does catch him, so I think it's definitely a foul and a yellow card. But if that happens, if that's a midfielder or a defender doing that tackle, it's not a red card. Do you know what I mean? So we have to take out the goal scoring opportunity bit is gone. So it's now a foul. Is it a reckless, out of control foul? No. Do you know what I mean? So a yellow card, I think, is fair because he catches him, but I don't think it's a dangerous tackle. If his foot is up, then and he smashes into him, then I think, yeah, you have grounds to give a red card on that. But I think the fact that his foot is sort of on the ground and he's going to try and, you know, win the ball, I don't think it's a red card. I'd only give you a red card for anyone else on the pitch, so I don't think it's a red card for him.
Me and Kev spoke about it earlier, so I'm going to give Kev the first goal in a minute. I'm going to tell you I think it's a red card all day. I agree with George. Because not for the tackle, not for the, you know, serious fair play or serious foul play, or whatever they call it nowadays, tackle, okay? Kanate isn't there.
Yeah, he is.
No. If Kelleher, hold on.
You're making it up now. He is. I'm
not making it up. If Kelleher, hold on a minute. If Kelleher doesn't make contact with that player, there's no way Kanate is stopping that fella from putting in the goal. Not a fucking chance.
40 yards out.
It doesn't matter.
More to do.
Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Right, so hold on a minute. So Sadio Mane is running through. Okay?
This wasn't Sadio Mane.
So hold on. Sadio Mane is coming through, and a defender does that to him. We are screaming for a red card. Screaming for it. Kanate is not...
For that?
If Kelleher minds his own business, right, Kanate catches him over the next 5 to 10 yards. I fully agree with that. But at the moment that contact happens, right, if he manages to stay on his feet, right, the guy is in on goal. There's nobody between him and the goal. I don't give a fuck where Kanate is, but he's definitely not on top of him.
Kanate is behind him. Your man's not scoring. I'm looking at it here. Your man's not scoring.
So you telling me then, if Kelleher misses that ball and misses the player, are you telling me that Kanate is between him and the goal and it's not a goal score?
That's exactly what I'm telling you. I'm looking at it here.
Between him and the goal, though.
Kanate changes his run and goes behind him.
Right. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, when the tackle is made, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing between that man and that goal. Nothing.
There is. Kanate.
Kanate's running in the other direction.
No, he's not.
Kanate, you just said it. Kanate changes his run.
Yeah, he changes from the ball and goes behind where Kelleher is.
So he's
between your...
What I'm saying
so
hold on a minute. Where in relation to Keevy and Kelleher and that player is Kanate when he makes contact with that player? Behind him. So behind him. That's all you need to say. So he's behind. He's behind the player.
No, he's nearer to the goal.
He is closer to the goal than the player who's being tackled.
So hold on. So the ball goes through Queevy and Kelleher. If he misses him, are you telling me that Konate is in goal?
I'm telling you, Konate hoovers that up if your man goes through.
There's no way.
It's
lads, listen. Take the red tinted glasses off.
No,
if that happens the other way around, and Sadio Mane is taken out by a goalkeeper there, we are fucking screaming for a red card. Don't tell me you aren't. Don't tell me you aren't.
Of course we are, but we'd be wrong.
Why? So you'd be wrong too.
Yeah.
So if that happened the other way around, you come in here and you'd say, "I was screaming for a red card, but I'm actually wrong."
No, you wouldn't. Bro. I'd say I'm screaming
because you believe it was a red card.
I'm looking at it here. I'm looking at it here.
It's a red card.
Konate has your man all day long.
The first thing you said when you come on, Gav, was about it was Konate wasn't there, which is factually wrong.
But he's not.
He was there.
But no, hold on, he's not because the tackle is between Kelleher and this other guy.
And Konate is there.
No, Konate's behind them. Konate gets ahead of them.
Yeah, but hold on. What I'm saying is, if that contact isn't made, does he have a chance to score a goal?
He has to beat Konate.
Does he have a chance to score a goal if he doesn't get him?
Yeah, but he doesn't have an open goal.
Lads, come on. Stop it, please.
Please. You're having a mare, Gav.
I'm not having a mare. I'm asking you.
He is there.
Do you believe?
Is Konate there? Is Konate there?
So you honestly believe?
Is Konate there?
Konate is there. Yeah. Right.
Okay,
but hold on. Are you telling me that guy has not got a goal scoring opportunity if Kelleher does not make contact with him?
No, because Konate is there.
He does not have a goal scoring opportunity.
Well, he has a goal scoring opportunity, but he's not going to get it.
So hold on a minute. If the contact isn't made, that you're telling me that player doesn't get hit by Kelleher. The ball goes beyond both of them.
Yeah.
You're telling me
Konate gets that.
Konate gets it.
Yeah, he does get it.
Konate gets it.
Absolutely.
So it's not a goal scoring opportunity.
Stop.
No
doubt.
You just told me he's changed his run. You told me he's closer to the fucking goal. So he's changing his run. He's changing his run. He's running away.
He changes his run from the defender and goes in behind Kelleher because he knows Kelleher's coming out.
So he changes his. So hold on. He's chasing this fella who was behind. He changes his run to get goal side. But even when he changes his run, he's going to change it again to get back over and get this fella. And he's not going to have a goal
because.
Lads,
come on. That's where the ball is.
Please.
That's where the ball is.
People in the chat are saying, like, I'm calling saying me and Davo are embarrassing ourselves here. Look, I'm looking at the clip here. I'm literally looking at it as we're talking. Kelleher comes out, gets a nick on your man. If that's a defender on anybody in the field of play, it's not a red card, right? So, for a fact, it's not a red card tackle. It's the keeper comes out, has the touch on it. Konate's covering. It's not a red card. There's no argument on this.
I'm not. By the way, Gav, I'm not. If Konate is like, right, I'm putting words in your mouth. But if Konate is 5 yards further back chasing this fella down, and it happens, I'm saying it's a red card.
Yeah.
Konate is shoulder to shoulder with this fella, running back with him. He sees Kelleher tearing out from the goal, knows what's going to happen, so says, "I'm going to start going back towards the line here in case your man nicks it by him."
But hold on. So
he's there. Konate is involved in this situation from start to finish. It's not if he was 5 yards further back or 10 yards further back, making a beeline, trying to burst in his bollocks, 100-yard sprint to get back because there's a mistake after happening. I go, listen, he's nowhere near getting back on the cover there. There's no argument. He's literally running with him on the cover. I'll put it this way, Gav. If Queevy and Kelleher doesn't come out, Konate
I 100% agree with you because I said it earlier.
Is ushering your man out on the sideline?
But I said to you earlier,
either your man has to hit this from 35 yards or he has to beat Konate because he doesn't have an open goal.
I said this earlier. If Queevy and Kelleher doesn't come out, Konate eats him alive, right? But what I'm saying is, when that contact isn't made, that guy has every chance to score a goal. And people are asking why he wasn't given a VAR. Well, fair enough, it wasn't given a VAR. In my opinion, it's wrong. I think if he doesn't make contact with him, that guy runs over the top of Kelleher and he genuinely has a goal scoring opportunity. It doesn't matter if Konate's fucking 4 of them in the goal. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the goal is reduced to fucking 3 foot by 3 foot. He has a genuine chance to score the goal.
He's a goal scorer. It has to be a clear goal scoring opportunity. Of course, he's an opportunity to score, Gav.
Yeah, but if he's an opportunity to score, it's a goal scoring opportunity.
10 of them today.
If it's goals, if it's an opportunity to score,
Kanate's in control of
if he has an
that. Kanate
opportunity to
eats
score,
that.
it's a goal scoring opportunity. It's just different wording. It's the same fucking thing.
No, but sure, listen, Gav. But then, like, you could be shooting outside the box and someone foul you. That's a goal scoring opportunity. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
but what I'm saying is, Kevin Kelleher's 35 yards from his goal.
Yeah,
right?
I know
Takes this guy out. Takes this guy out. I genuinely believe. Now I'm happy it wasn't given, right?
Yeah.
But I genuinely believe if he doesn't make contact with him, that guy has a goal scoring opportunity.
That's grand. I think Kanate mops that up. Absolutely mops it up. Mops it up, no problem.
I think he mops it up.
Yeah, no problem.
I think he mops it up 100% if they're running and Kevin Kelleher's nowhere near it.
I think. I get that. He absolutely does. But I think he absolutely mops it up. If Kelleher comes running out and he flicks up on him, and say Kelleher doesn't make contact with the player, I think Kanate mops it up. Do you get me? Yeah. I think if Kelleher comes steaming out, goes to slide tackle your man, misses him, or your man flicks the ball past him and hurdles the challenge, I think Kanate mops that up as well. I think he's just there. He's there, like he's there from start to finish, involved in the move. He's not.
That's
just for me. Now listen, don't get me wrong. If your man come over and flashes a red card, like with the penalty point going to go, I think that's harsh because Kanate is there, but he is after coming 40 yards out of his goal and building somebody. Right, that's fair enough. But I can see, like for me, 100%. Why it wasn't given, because Kanate is there, he's with your man the whole time, sees Kelleher coming out, going, listen, I'll head back towards the goal because shit might go down here. It doesn't, because Kelleher clatters into him.
Yeah, I think the fact, like, when I'm looking at it here, right, I think Kanate does get to him if Kelleher's not around, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, because Kelleher's out there and takes the guy out, I think if the guy doesn't get hit, I genuinely think it's a goal scoring opportunity.
Well, we disagree then. I think Kanate mops that up.
Yeah, but I think Kanate mops it, and I think the fact that they don't, they check it twice, don't they? They check it for
they check it once for the goal scoring opportunity, then they check
it again for the
foil and play.
I think the goal scoring opportunity ones gets cleared up fairly quick between the ref and VAR, and then they're looking at the tackle itself.
Is it reckless? Is
it reckless?
No, I don't think it's a reckless tackle. I think it's a genuine attempt to get the ball.
He's not trying to tackle, he's trying to clear the ball, and your man just gets it in front of him. Now, we've seen them being given as foul. I just think if that's a midfielder and a midfielder touches it away and he gets a tackle like that, it's never a red card. And I think Kanate was in control of the situation. So I can understand a lot of people thinking, it should be a definite red, And this isn't red rose-tinted glasses. I just agree with that. I think Kanate's there on the cover, and I think your man has an awful lot still to do if he gets that ball.
Yeah, but if he gets the ball, he's a goal scoring opportunity because there's no one in goal. It's one defender between him and the goal. It's a genuine goal scoring opportunity.
A big fast defender. Your man's bleeding still about.
It doesn't have to be fucking fast. All he has to do is kick it. That's all he has to do.
He has to get to it as well because.
Hold on, if the defender takes you down and you're going through on goal, it doesn't matter how quick the goalkeeper is. It's the fact that it's only you and him between the goals.
So you're saying if he hurdles Kelleher, he gets the touch and doesn't get taken down.
If he hurdles Kelleher, I'm looking at there. If he doesn't get taken by Kelleher and gets anywhere near that ball, he's a goal scoring opportunity.
Yeah, but I don't think he's getting near the ball.
But he's not getting near the ball because he has to hurdle.
The ball literally rolls to Kanate.
Yeah, I understand
Kanate's
that.
There, so that's what I'm saying. It's a hard one. It's one that can go either way.
I think it's a red. Use down. Fair enough. We'll move on. I have the clip in front of me. People are asking. I'm looking at it here in front of me. And
what do you think, Kev? Kev, what do you think?
I stick with what I said earlier on. I never thought the denying a goal scoring opportunity was going to be a red. Kanate was there. I thought the tackle was touch and go. I thought he was reckless. I thought he was out of control. The only thing that saved him was there was no excessive force, and it caught him low on the ankle. If that had caught him a couple of inches higher, you're talking in the Harry Kane territory on Robbo, where Harry Kane should have saw red. Kelleher was very lucky because he's not normally rash. His judgment off the line is normally very, very good. And this is the first time I'm clutching at straws to think of other times where his judgment off the line was questioned. And maybe it's because he was inactive. He didn't have much to do in the game. He wanted to be involved, just over-eager, whatever way you want to put it. But
Yeah.
if it was red, wouldn't argue. If it was yellow, as it was, not going to put up much of an argument. I said it earlier, it was an orange, if there was an orange card, and I'd stick by that. The only thing that I was happy about was about a quarter of an hour later, he came and cleared the ball off his line with his head out for a throw-in. And I thought that's what I wanted to see, because that's what you need in your keeper, that you can have what happened, you can brush it to the side and focus on what's in front of you. And people can argue the toss over, was it yellow, was it red, all they like. I care about the second incident more than I care about what happened in the first. The fact that he had the confidence to come again and do what needed to be done.
Keane spoke well about it before the game too, Kev, on UTV. Yeah, he said him and Martin O'Neill brought him into the Ireland camp, and you knew, but it wasn't so much what Keane was saying. You just knew he kind of impressed Keane, that he was no airs and graces, no attitude, just turned up, trained, done his job, done it well, calm and presence, and just I think it spoke a lot fucking by what Keane kind of didn't say. It was just more how he was saying it. That, do you know what I mean? He was impressed with him. So listen, I agree with you, Kev. Like, you coming out, make a mistake like that, it's easy to go back into your shell and stay stuck to your line because you don't want to do it again.
Yeah.
But no, he was straight off again. So no, listen, yeah, look, he could have been a red, absolutely. But like we said,
do you know what?
times already.
Yeah, listen, we'd have to agree to disagree. I'm actually looking at it over and over again here. I think
you're coming around, aren't you?
No, I think the only thing that does for Kelleher maybe is the fact that the player doesn't touch the ball. I think if the player touches the ball and is under control of it, and Kelleher does that to him, it's a definite red. There's no doubt about it. That's probably the only thing that does for Kelleher. But I still think it's a red card, because I still think he stopped the guy being in on goal. And that's just the way it is. Like, I know it runs towards Kanate, I get that, but if he isn't clipped on the ankle there, there's every chance he gets to it, and it's an absolute goal-scoring opportunity. But listen, we better move on. We're an hour and 10 in. That's my fault. I apologise. People are going mad. Going seriously.
Haven't even spoke about a goal yet.
If we don't talk about it enough, they tell us to keep fucking talking about it. So we can't win. But let's get on to the goals. Davo, I'll come back to you. I'll try to be nice to you now, because you'll be calling me all the names under the sun now, right? But how fucking good is this fella ahead in the football? Because it's getting stupid how good he is.
That's a fucking outrageous header today. Yeah. I actually think the cross is a little bit behind him, and he just gets his neck back, and to get the power into it. He must be. Is he 16? Is he 15, 16 yards out? And he heads something like that.
He's not close to goal anyway.
Yeah, no. To get the power into that, to head it down. It sounds stupid. I think the cross is ever so slightly behind it, but it's a good delivery. There's decent pace on it. There's decent, but it's not fucking fizzed in, but there's decent pace on it, and it's an absolute unbelievable header. Unbelievable. It's that good. I don't know whether that keeper today was there first choice, reserve. I don't think there's many keepers getting to that at all. The header was that good.
He's literally standing on the penalty spot when he hits it, and he connects his on the penalty spot.
Yeah, so 15.
Yeah, so
12 yards out, wasn't he?
12 yards out. Yeah, so no, brilliant header. He's absolutely outrageous, because he can be a bit. Like, his general play, sometimes he can be a bit lax. He can lose the ball. His touch can be off. He's sitting like that, but he's just when he gets in on goal, that's why the forcing of the first half was a surprise that he missed that one. But no, that's an outrageous header. He's unbelievable in the air. Great header.
Harry Devon, he says here, Jota's goals so far this season, I presume, 6 left foot, 5 right foot, 5 headers. So
he's an outrageous player, isn't he?
Yeah,
it's dead away, like, it's unreal.
And it's the tight situation he's walking in. He just, like, you see players that might be not as big as centre, but they're taking a run at it and getting a leap, or their movement is really good. They're getting in front of defenders and stuff like that. And I was saying to Kev earlier, he doesn't wait for balls to, you see much bigger forwards, and they're trying to, when the ball hits its highest, you know, they're trying to get up there and get it to get an advantage. He's just so confident in his movement and his leap and the timing is what it is, because he's timing it to perfection. If he's up a second later, someone's getting a header on it. If he's up a second early, someone's getting a header. It's just the timing is bang on, where he's just it's immaculate what he does. And I think you're right, Davo. I don't know what keeper you put in to save that, because the pace is good on the ball, but I think he adds a bit to it, and the direction is just phenomenal. Right in the corner, like, it's very, very hard to save. Keith, 2-0 Minamino, and at this stage, Luis Diaz and Harvey Elliott have come on, the two brilliant receptions. To see Harvey Elliott back, which we're going to talk to him in a few minutes, to see him back was brilliant. Luis Diaz comes on, short sleeve top, pair of gloves, let's have it. And he doesn't give this one up. He wins the ball back and somehow keeps it in. Then there's a lovely bit of footwork, and Jota should score, but it gets to Minamino, who's literally on. He's about to head off to be subbed, and bang, he makes it 2-0, and that's more or less game done.
It is, yeah. I'd say if Luis Diaz had his life choices back again, he'd have put an Under Armour on him, under that jersey.
Big thermal vest.
He made the call. Fair play to him. I thought he was lively when he comes on, Gav. I thought, you know, that little flash on that goal was exactly what you want to see out of a new, you know, a winger, an exciting attacking player, because he doesn't give it up. He's chasing it down. I'm looking at it here. The ball goes in. I don't know who it is that slots it through to him. Simicast has gone up, and Bobby, I think, hits one in, and the fullback Perry NG is shepherding it out. He's I don't know what he's expecting to do, because there's not enough on the ball for it to run out of play. So he's inviting trouble, and Diaz is onto it like a light. And like that, the quick feet on the byline there, or the touch line, it's very good. And he just hits it across. You're right, Jota should score, but it goes
Jota
through to
gets
Minamino.
the assist.
That's mad, isn't it? I was going to say,
Jota tries to hit it and miss, going to more or less misses it, but gets
it's
something.
not a fucking assist.
Yeah.
But whatever. But I'm delighted that Minamino scored, because it's another goal for him, you know. And I don't think any of us here are going to try and say, look, Minamino's a first name on the team sheet or anything like that. But to have a player like him,
same amount of
in and
goals
around
as
the
Lukaku
cups.
this season.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean? In and around the cup teams, to rotate and to just bring in, he does a lot. I thought he was very good today, to be honest. I thought he was, considering the midfield by giving them nothing, I thought he was trying to go back and get involved. He was pressing, he was doing what we want out of him. And I was delighted that he got that goal. I think, what's he got, 6 goals or something this season, or 8 goals? Someone will tell us.
I don't know what he
I think
has.
it's seven or 8, but I think he's probably one off Lukaku, or on the same amount as Lukaku.
Yeah, he's doing good, you know what I mean? Jono says there, Perry NG is a Scouser. Yeah, born in Liverpool, that's right, but I think he's a Singapore international. But yeah, it was excellent by Luis Diaz. And you look, that's what you want to see from your player on his debut. You want them to excite you, and you want them to see them making things happen. And I think he done that. What I found interesting was he didn't stay wide. He was very central. Now, he's only in the place of Leiden Wet Day, and I'm sure doesn't speak any English or that, so it's probably a case of just go on there, run around and make a nuisance of yourself. But I thought he was picking up a lot of central areas. He was getting the ball in central areas, which would be interesting to see. You know, Klopp, when he signs a player, like Harvey Elliott, we didn't sign a midfield player when we signed Harvey Elliott. He always looks to try and do something different with them. So it'll be interesting to see if he looks at putting them a bit more, not hugging the touchline. At Porto, he'd hug the touchline and cut in on his right and shoot. He might move him in 10 yards inside and give defenders something else to think about. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see going forward.
Yeah, look, and people are mentioning in the chat there, Red Steve said he thought Diaz was a disgrace, rolling about just because he's got a hole in his knee. Nearly gave me a heart attack. Yeah, listen, I was watching it here, and my wife and daughter were sitting here, and he went down, and I went, "You're fucking joking me."
When he starts slapping the ground,
yeah,
and all,
I
like,
slapping the ground, and my daughter says to me, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "We've literally signed him." He literally arrived yesterday. He's on the ground. He could be out for months here. And she was like, "No way." And then I turned and went, "Ah, it's grand. He just stood on him. It's grand." And she was like, "What?"
Yeah, the 6'5" guy just stood on that.
And
he's grand.
She couldn't understand how I was so happy that a Liverpool player had just been stood on rather than his cruiser or something going.
Yeah,
but no,
that was the worry.
It makes it 2-0 and it's brilliant. Kev, Harvey Elliott, you know. September the 12th is when he got injured because I got given out to in the chat earlier.
I thought it was October. I honestly thought it was October.
I thought it was October, but somebody gave out stink to me in the chat and said, you've said it numerous times, you thought it was October. Put this date down. It's September the 12th, so I was being rightly told off. I'm not having a good day here at all. Like Davo's just come on and abused me for no fucking reason. But September the 12th is when he gets injured. So what are you looking at? October, November, December, 4 months, 5 months. But Kev, to see him back, to see him look so sharp when he come on and then to score, it was just perfection for him, wasn't it?
He hasn't missed a beat, has he? When he came on, it was give me the ball, have it back, I'll move, give it to me again. And it was just like he's never been away. I read some of his he was interviewed after. I read some of his quotes, and it was all along the lines of, you don't have a clue what this means to me. And he is a proper fan. First and foremost, he went to Fulham and came through the academy. He was only ever going to come to Liverpool if the opportunity came to him, and to contribute the way he did today, he'd have been thinking about this for the last 4 months. When I get back, this is my dream. This is what I want to do on my comeback: score a goal into the Kop and wheel away and celebrate. And he couldn't have scripted that any better, because on the ball he was brilliant. He kept it simple when it needed to be simple, and when it needed to be intricate, he can do that too. I still think we need to find out about his defensive qualities, and we'll find that out in time. But he's a special talent. He really is, and he's one of the few English midfielders, forward attacking midfielder players that I've seen. I'm just so happy that we got him, because if you went to go and buy him, you would break your summer transfer budget to try to land this kid and what he could become. But it's all ifs, buts, and maybes, and what if he fulfills the potential that I think he has, in 2 years' time, you're going to be talking about Phil Who.
Yeah, because Foden is probably...
Him and Foden, for me, are the
Foden is
head and shoulders in the Premier League at their age range. Throw Bellingham in there as well. But at their age range, those three are head and shoulders above everything else.
Well, the video of his father apparently was amazing in the stands. I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
So, have you seen
Top reference that in one of his interviews as well after the game, that he reckoned his father would have been over the moon with it. And it's a lonely thing. It's a lonely thing, these things with players with injuries, and especially for it to happen to someone so young.
Well, Archie Dillon says it there.
In his breakout year,
Just seen Elliott said 147 days out that flew in. What a comeback. I'm going to give Keith and Davo a chance to talk about Harvey Elliott, because I don't think you should pass without doing that. We've about 9 minutes left. Davo has to go to bed. He's up early in the morning. He robs catalytic converters. But I want to give a shout out to Cardiff and the goal they get, because I thought it was a really, really good goal. Firmino gives it away, but it's a really good goal. It's a good ball into the forward, and he doesn't mess about. It's a really good strike. And I didn't want to let the show go without mentioning that, because in fairness, when you see a good goal, you go, that's a good goal. And it was. Davo, though, Luis Diaz comes on, does well. Harvey Elliott comes back, and it's brilliant to see him coming back. And it was just nice for the both of them, wasn't it?
It was great. Listen, it was great to see Diaz. I think it shows. We know Klopp makes signings, and it can take time for them to gel and get the system and stuff like that. But I think it just shows Diaz is signed, and he'll be playing, and he'll be certainly in the round. I'm not going to say he's going to. We won't see Sadio again, or he'll be coming off the bench or what. But Diaz is going to be playing. He's going to be involved. I actually struggled. I think Keith mentioned it, did you, earlier, that he played a bit more central. I was kind of struggling to see what position he was trying to take up when he came on. He was kind of everywhere. He wasn't hanging out wide.
At times he was very touchliney, wasn't he? And then other times
he was centre forward. And I thought he hurdled a couple of heavy enough challenges that they put in them early in the game as well. And he kept wanting the ball, so that was a great sign. And then, listen, great to see Elliott. He's Kev already raved about how good he is. What a talent. And that finish, he made that look easy when it wasn't. He actually hits it behind the defender who's falling to take the keeper over, because the keeper's no chance then, because he's blindsided because the ball comes by the defender. And he actually, when you see it from kind of behind the goal or in front of the goal, the replay is he puts the ball in a very small window because he's hitting it back behind the defender into the corner. It's an absolutely smashing finish. And I think Klopp's quotes on him kind of post-match and some of the stuff Elliott said himself, he had to cheer Klopp up 2 days after he came in after the surgery back to Kirby and saying, look, cheer up, boss, like, we'll be back. And like, so I think Klopp has very high hopes that this fella could be one of the best in the world. I think, and I think, like Kev said, it's great that we have him, because imagine trying to buy him now. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it'd be ridiculous. Like, and you know, to see him come back and to see you couldn't have scripted it better. You know, and like, I genuinely I want him to play Thursday, and I want Diaz to play Thursday. I want them to all play, and that's what happens, isn't it? When, like we were saying earlier, the amount, like when you're literally only Divock Origi away from an absolute fully fit squad, you want them all to play, and you can't fit them all in. But it's a great problem to have, and
just great to see Thiago coming back as well.
Yeah,
today.
Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, they all come back now. Listen, don't get me wrong. When the teams announce that fucking an hour before kick-off on Thursday, there will be people giving out about it, because that's how we work. But as a fan base, but just to have them all available, and you're literally going, how some of these won't even get on the bench on Thursday. That's just amazing. Keith, Dylan O'Rourke says, how professional is Elliott? Post-match interview after 5 months off, and he's praising everyone, including Diaz. He's just a special player. Every time I see him, he just impresses me more and more and more. And today, I said it to Kev earlier, Keith, it would have been easy for him to come on, do things, difficult things all the time, try and shoot and try and Hollywood balls, try and flicks, just to, you know, garner some attention because I'm back. But he didn't. He just went on and played like Harvey Elliott, never went away, and tops it with a goal. It was brilliant.
It was a great performance. What I liked as well was he took a couple of whacks. Do you know what I mean? He got played and lumped a couple of times, and he just got up and got on with it. When you're coming back from an ankle, a dislocated ankle, you know, you could be forgiven for thinking, no, you know, I'll just sort of dance my way through this. I won't get too involved. But he doesn't. The goal is brilliant. You know, the technique to get that swivel and get it in, it's an excellent goal. And it's a special one for him. Look, we've spoke about him before. We think he's excellent, but his maturity, as he's getting older, like he's old, more sensible, maybe beyond his years at the moment, because, you know, we forget how young he is. As the lads have touched on, you know, if you've got Phil Foden, you've got Jude Bellingham, you've got all these young players, and you'd love to have them, but we actually do have one. You know, we actually do have one, and I think Klopp realises that. I don't think a lot of fans would argue, not like the conversation on Twitter with someone saying, oh, we never replaced Genie. And I'm like, well, Harvey Elliott's the Genie replacement. Oh, he's only a kid. He can't be the replacement as well. Jurgen Klopp thinks he is because he put him in the team and he was keeping senior players out of that team at the start of the season until he got injured. I think, you know, because he's not a fancy signing,
he was keeping the captain out, wasn't he? To be fair,
yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. And
I genuinely believe with everyone fit, he's in the squad. He's in the first 11.
In the team.
Yeah.
I think he's touching it, definitely. I think what he gives on that right-hand side, those little taking the ball in, he links up well with Trent and Mo when they were there, and he gives them little round the corner balls with his left foot. He'll open up teams. I think he's an absolutely cracking talent. I think he's outrageously good, and it's a sign of what Liverpool are trying to do. Cade Gordon is not at that level yet, but Cade Gordon is another player who we bring in at 16, who was playing in the Championship for Derby. You know, Harvey Elliott was playing in the Fulham first team at 16. Excuse me. We're looking at Fabio Carvalho at Fulham as well. We're looking at these players that are young, but that are ready. And we're seeing it now with Harvey Elliott. He is ready in that team. As you've said there, Gav, if he's in the 11, you're not blinking. I
want him in the 11.
Get him in there. Do you know what I mean?
Because I think he's absolutely tailor-made for that right-hand side, number 8, for what we're trying to do this season.
Yeah.
In seasons gone by, where you went Fabinho, Henderson, Wijnaldum, where it's really functional, and we look to do something from different areas, you go, I'm not sure, because that's the way we play, but with the way we're trying to play, which is very obvious this season, that man on the right hand side is looking to be more creative, more advanced, looking to get involved further up the pitch in a much heavier way. He's absolutely tailor-made for it. There's not a player at the club that's made for as much as him, in my opinion. We better leg it. We've 2 minutes to go. Quickly, man of the match, Kev.
I'm sticking with Jota.
Okay.
I thought his overall play was very good today. He could have had a hat-trick.
Yeah.
On another day, he has a hat-trick.
I'm going to stick with him too. Keith?
I'm giving it to Harvey Elliott. Fuck yous. I don't care if he only came on. He got the goal, the comeback story. Harvey Elliott for me.
Good stuff. Davo?
I'd probably go something different. I thought Van Dijk was very understatedly good today. I thought he snuffed out
Kanate's cover for that tackle. Kanate.
Kanate. Actually, no. I think I'll go Virgil. I'll go Van Dijk.
Okay. Chris Brack mentions the women's team beat Coventry 3-0 today.
9 points clear or something, Matty?
9 points clear.
Yeah.
Absolutely flying. Chris will be back soon.
Brilliant.
With a women's show. Right, so before we go, don't forget, if you're into that Bet Me thing and app, you can download it on Apple, on Android. It's UK based only at the moment. If you're in Ireland, you can link up with something in the UK and they can help you out. Link in description for their website and also to sign up. Don't forget to do that. Féileacáin, that's the charity. We're on the road to 10k. We're just about to tip over the 2k mark, and we're only in the early February, so that's going really, really well. Our sponsorship for the golf day is more or less full. Our players are all lined up and ready to go, so it's all about donations now. Okay, so again, link in description to their website to see exactly what they're about and the link to the donate page. As I said, if you don't want to put, or you want to put super chats in here, refrain. That's a nice word, isn't it, this hour? Refrain from doing so. Please go into the donate page instead and give it in there. It means a hell of a lot if you do that, okay? And the last thing is, if you're a subscriber to this channel, on the community tab on our YouTube, you can go in there and you can find a link to a new LFC Daytrippers messenger service that's coming this Friday. Very simple. Click the link. You enter your email. They will send you the link to get into the chat, which will launch on Friday. It's absolutely free. Okay, it's absolutely free. It's just a way of keeping all you people in the chat, in touch with each other outside of these shows. We have done Discord. That remains there. People wanted it on an app on their phone in front of them. So this is what we're doing. All the details will be there if you enter. As I said, it's free. There is an option there to donate $2.99 per month to us, but it's not going to us. What we're going to do is this will end up costing us money to run. So we will put I suppose your $2.99 towards the running costs, and anything else after that will go to charity as well, right? So as I said, anything we get from BetMe, anything we get off this new messenger service will absolutely go to charity, not a penny to us. So again, in the community tab, as a subscriber, you click on the link, it asks for your email. You can either go the free version or the $2.99 version. They're both exactly the same. It's just you donating $2.99 a month to the LFC Daytrippers, and we can put it towards the running cost of this messenger service, and anything else that's left will go to charity. That's about it. Loads of links, loads of stuff in the description, but it's all there. So if you just read the description, I don't need to fucking say this stuff, to be perfectly honest with you. That has been the Fatback 4. Loads of content coming during the week. Liverpool across play on Thursday, so we will have stuff in the run up to that. We'll let you know how it goes. We'll let you know tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock anyway, and I'll fill you all in. Kev, Keith, Davo, thanks a million for joining us. Everyone in the chat, you've been absolute stars, and we'll talk to you soon. Over now.